Hi everyone, it's Nicole Spohr here today with a tall and skinny XOXO card featuring Mama Elephant stamps and dies from the January release, as well as the Bursting Heart stencil from Simon Says Stamp to create that gorgeous tone-on-tone stenciled background. I love tall and skinny cards for the real estate they give you, and they fit in a regular mailing envelope that you'd send a bill or something in. So I love this size because an envelope is readily available. I have trimmed down my card base to 7 inches by 9 inches, and then I'm scoring it in half at 3.5 inches. We're then going to fold it in half. I'm going to use a bone folder to make sure it's creased really well. And then I have left this part in the video because I think it's kind of important. I get asked a lot about thought process as far as design goes. And this was really how I was figuring out my design. I kind of had a general idea, but until I actually lay out the dies, the stamps, I'm not entirely sure if that's going to work because, you know, sometimes what you think in your head doesn't always translate on paper. So what I ended up doing was taking the XOXO from the Mama Elephant Whimsy Alpha and then the stamp from the Zodiac Rabbit stamp set. And I'm just kind of planning out, seeing how many XOXOs I think are going to fit, if it's going to work to tuck the letter into the rabbit's arms, because there are some dies in that Zodiac Rabbit set you can choose to use with or without, excuse me, and they die cut the paws so they can hold on to either images from the set, or in this case, we're going to have them hold on to the X or the O. Then I did just kind of help adhere my card base to my work surface with some post-it notes, and I'm using Pinkfresh Studio inks in Coral Reef and Passion Fruit to ink up the front panel of my card. One of the things that I like to mention when using dye inks to blend onto a card base or background or whatever it might be, and it looks really, really splotchy right now, the more ink that you place on there, or kind of the more blending you do, and then especially this, the longer you let it set, I mean, it doesn't take very long, but once it sits, the ink dries, it absorbs into the paper, it fades just a little bit. It is a dye ink. I am always completely amazed at how smooth the background looks. It loses this blotchy look and feeling because at this point I'm thinking I chose the wrong inks every single time. Doesn't matter how many times I have used dye inks for ink blending. When it gets to this point right here, I'm like, yeah, this looks like trash. And I really want to put it in the trash, but I don't. I do want to mention, yes, I'm inking the front of the card base. I really thought this was going to work. It would have worked if I had not chosen to apply some Lawn Fawn Liquid Stardust splatters over the top of this, which I am going to do. It actually seeped through the cardstock because this is only 80-pound weight. I don't know. I must be out of a 110-pound weight cardstock, which is what I actually prefer. And it may have still leaked or kind of gone through the cardstock at that weight. I don't know. But the splatters made the ink leak through to the inside of the card, and I totally don't like that look. So what I ended up doing was just trimming this panel slightly smaller than 3.5 by 9 inches, and we're going to pop this onto another card base. So I do want to mention that because I don't want you to try the same thing and think, wow, the inside of the card looks terrible, which it really, really does. So I would suggest doing a panel on the front of the card if you want to do something similar. Now that I have my inked background, I'm taking the Simon Says Stamp Bursting Hearts stencil and applying those same 2 ink colors through the stencil, kind of, and they go in a diagonal, and I'm definitely using it in a diagonal. But what I love, this is a huge stencil. It's huge. It means it's going to work with these tall and skinny cards without having to actually maneuver and piece it together like you would a traditional 6x6 stencil or a smaller one. which for me was a total game changer. Really excited about this because this is a big, bold stencil that's really awesome. I love that it goes from teeny tiny to great big as far as the hearts go. And I know I've mentioned this a lot. I love heart accents. I think heart accents work for so many cards. Yes, this is definitely a Valentine's-y feeling card, but wouldn't have to be used just for Valentine's Day. So next, we are going to place this background into a cardboard box. I just want to use something to protect my work surface. I've got this great box that some Lawn Fawn product came in, so it's nice and shallow. I'm taking the Lawn Fawn liquid Stardust and a small paintbrush and splattering the entire background. Now, this is not a reactive or oxide ink, so it's not going to react with the inks. However, there are going to be liquid stardust, sparkly stardust splatters all over the background. And it's hard to see here, but when you hold it at an angle, look at those shimmer and shine distress spots. So pretty, and really make the background just have some shine and a little bit of interest. Now I'm going to take my images from the Zodiac Rabbit stamp set. This is, again, a new stamp set for January 2020 from Mama Elephant. They're doing the whole range of Zodiac animals this year. So these are the latest. This and the tiger were the January release for that. And I have stamped my images on Bristol Smooth cardstock with the Ink on 3 no line coloring ink, and I'm coloring them in with Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. I am picking here, I'm going to tell you my ink colors. They are listed across the bottom of the screen as well. Mid-gray brick beige, and the blender, as well as pink haze for the insides of the ears and the pink on the cheeks. So just a little touch of pink with this kind of taupey gray color for the mice. Bunnies, excuse me, sorry guys. I purposely picked something that I thought, a color combination that I thought would coordinate really nice with the coral-ish color of the background. And I do want to mention, I purposely picked something that wasn't red and wasn't pink for my background. For whatever reason, I love this coral-ish kind of color for Valentine's cards, or anytime cards really. But I love that color combination, and I think it really goes nicely and can kind of go either way, as far as I'm going to have some pinkish red accents. That's the strawberries and the balloon, and then some orange accents with the carrots. And I think this kind of color background really goes nicely with both, as well as these kind of taupish gray bunnies. So all my bunnies are going to be colored exactly the same. You might be thinking you have 4 on your card, you only stamped 3 here. I wasn't exactly sure how much room I had, even though I was planning out at the beginning of the video, and so I only did 3, thinking I might skip a bunny on one of the XOXOs. Ended up, I really didn't like that. I will stamp the remaining rabbit and color it in just like you're seeing me do here. So I'm actually using every rabbit image from Zodiac Rabbit, as well as the balloon, the strawberry, and the carrot. There are some additional images in this set. There's like a fan, like a turnip or something, a pumpkin, and a couple other things. So there's all of these images plus the little sentiment phrase that we're going to be using at the bottom of our card a little bit later in the video. Really, really cute. I have not added the detail into the eyes. If you have watched me do no line coloring for anything with a face before, you know that I like to wait to do that until after I have die cut the image, and then I will take a gel pen in black and add that detail into the eyes. I am now coloring in my images with reds and oranges. cute little strawberry and carrot. There's going to be multiples of these, so I only colored a couple on screen, but there are, I think, 3 strawberries and 2 carrots. And then the balloon, instead of doing the balloon in the same bunny colors, I wanted to do something colorful, so the bunny is going to be holding a reddish pink balloon colored in with geranium red and light carmine Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. We're going to draw in any face detail, this balloon string with a fine tip black pen. We're going to take the coordinating dies and die cut these and then pop them all out. I see I forgot some pink cheeks on this guy, so I'm going to go in and add those really quick. The black seeds on the strawberry. And then we're ready to start putting it all together. I'm going to need 4 sets of XOXO using that Whimsy Alpha from Mama Elephant. I'm adding the black gel pen for the eyes, and I want the XOXO to match my background, so I just took a scrap of cardstock left over from creating the card base for this card, and I am going to ink it up with the Pinkfresh Studio Coral Reef and Passion Fruit inks, and then die cut my letters from that. And I was able to get all 4 sets from one little skinny strip, so that worked really well. I'm also using those paw dies that I was talking about earlier in the video to die cut the paws and then tucking letters into them. So how cute is that, that the bunny appears to be holding the letter? That was kind of my goal with all of these, is to make it look like the rabbits are holding onto those. But I also think it's important to pop up my images to differentiate between the background and what's going on. Just, I love that little bit of dimension. And I know I mentioned it recently. There is hardly a card that goes by that I don't use some sort of foam tape on. So we're going to use some little skinny foam tape strips, and we are going to pop up everything on this card. That goes for the XOXO, that goes for the rabbits, and most of the images, I think there's maybe only 1 carrot that I actually adhered directly to the card base because it's tucked kind of behind a letter. We're starting here at the top, and I really just worked my way 1 line at a time down. So this first one, the rabbit's going to be holding the strawberry and the O. The next line, we're going to have our rabbit hold on to the X. We're just alternating all the way down. It kind of, I think, visually is more pleasing that way. And then this rabbit's going to hold the balloon, which I love that a lot of the elements kind of overlap each row, and you'll see what I mean as I add them in. It gives it a much more cohesive design. And again, just adding foam adhesive to the back of the letters. I will say, if you remove both sides of the backing paper for these skinny strips, you can bend and manipulate it so it goes around that letter O so easily. And then that little balloon that it's holding, cute, cute. The next row, and I'm going to go ahead and just attach this to my card base. You can see when I hold the paper at an angle, that shimmer of the liquid Stardust, so pretty. One of my very favorite products for adding some shimmer and shine. So this next one is going to be holding a carrot, and then also shifted over to the left of the X, I'm going to have a carrot and a strawberry. So that's the carrot that's adhered directly to the card base itself. And then the strawberry will be popped up on top. We're just going to trim up that foam tape. I noticed a couple areas I thought it was sticking out a little bit. And then our final little guy here, actually don't need to use the paw dies for him because his arms are outspread, but we're still going to kind of do it like the X is in front of him. And we'll just have him over to the left with the X, and then of course the O over to the right. He's going to be holding a strawberry. We're also going to add a little red heart embellishment to his chest. And I'll show you all of that here. We're just going to glue that strawberry in place and also add a little foam adhesive behind it. And I want to glue that X to my rabbit, and of course I dropped it with the glue right on my card, but I think I was able to lift all that up or disguise it where I did that. And I used a combination of foam adhesives. You'll notice those skinny strips and foam adhesive squares. So we just have a couple more little things to add. Another strawberry, another carrot, and then we'll go ahead and add in some little heart embellishments. And these are little sweethearts heart embellishments. We're going to have a little white heart on the balloon, which I know is out of focus or up above, out of range of my camera. I'm sorry about that. And then a little red heart on one of the O's and on that last rabbit's chest. Fun little additional dimensional embellishment. We're going to stamp the phrase then from Zodiac Rabbit on smooth white cardstock with the Pinkfresh Studio Passion Fruit ink. A happy hello to you. We're going to die cut this with a My Favorite Things Skinny Strips banner and then pop this up along the bottom edge of the card with foam adhesive strips to finish off our card design. So lots and lots of fun little embellishments here. You could do this with any of the Zodiac sets from Mama Elephant. Do something very similar because they all have those little paws. And so you can definitely use your favorite Zodiac animal. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this Tall and Skinny XOXO card featuring Mama Elephant stamps and dies and a Simon Says Stamp stencil. The supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos featuring Mama Elephant stamps and dies that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for joining me today, and we'll catch you next time.